And I'm live again. Um, so I did a live at 7 tonight, Eastern Standard Time, and the audio recorded for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then it cut off. And someone had commented, no audio. And I don't know when they commented that, because by the time I saw it, I was like, oh no, I just been talking away. And so I like reset my microphone. I was like, hope that works. And but it didn't work. So I had 40 minutes or so of just me talking. Um my lips were moving, but you couldn't hear anything. So when I got some food, and now I have come back to basically kind of redo the energy update. So if anybody is watching now, I know this is not our normal time, but if you could be like, hey, I can hear you, that would be great. And hopefully that my microphone just like keeps working. So in the energy update that I did at 7 that you can hear, I did go into Beltane, the historical kind of significance, different ceremonies and rituals and things like that, which I think was hearable. So I'm not going to really go into that again, since that the audio worked then. So if you want to kind of get the history of Beltane and the energies and all of that, go watch the first part of the live from a couple hours ago. And then I guess when the audio cuts out, then, you can watch this part. So I've kind of like, the nice thing about going live is that I can be live. I can be available to ask questions, if people have any. And then it's automatically recorded and then it gets posted. So although I don't like have an intro and all that kind of stuff, like it's like less work on the editing part. And then there's no time of like downloading the video and then uploading the video. Like, so it's more streamlined. So I'm just going to try it again live, and hopefully it works this time. And maybe some of the stuff that I said before didn't need to be heard. I don't know. We'll see what comes out now. Yeah. So anyway, all right. I'm trying to remember where the video cut off. But let's just go over some of the astrological stuff that is coming down the pipeline. And you'd think, since I already said it once, I'd not need to look at my notes again, but I just want to make sure I have times and dates and everything correct. Today, May 1st, Jupiter moves into Taurus. And Jupiter moving into Taurus is not just like a couple day thing. It basically happened today, and Jupiter is going to be in Taurus for a year until May 13th next year. And so, as Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and Jupiter is a planet, it can be of like luck, but it's just kind of like a big expansive energy, kind of enhancing the energy almost of like whatever it is, in alignment with, or whatever other planets, I guess, like it's working with. You could say it that way. So basically, Jupiter would be expanding the ideas that Taurus resonates with. Taurus is ruled by Venus, but Taurus has to do with the good things in life. It has to do with having pleasing surroundings in our home, having a serene and pleasing and aesthetic, like aesthetically pleasing environment, home, work. Taurus also has to do with like good food and good drink, right? A couple of you guys are watching now, so if you can hear me, if somebody could just comment and be like, hey, I can hear you, that would be awesome. Because I would really hate to talk for like an hour like I did before and nobody could hear me. So anyway, just say something in the chat real quick and I'll see it. So with Taurus, we also have, like I said, good food, drink. We also have our money, right? We do have our, awesome. Yeah, you can hear me. Thank you. We do have the things that we value, and things that we value can be like material possessions. It can be our furnishings. It can be our friends. It can be our circle, right? Like what we need to be happy and to feel healthy and to feel safe and to feel taken care of and grounded and all of that. So, with Jupiter being in Taurus for the next year, those the Taurian desires may be more in the forefront of your awareness. And it could be that you kind of do an inventory and you're like, I don't really have what I need or what I want. The things that are around me, like physical items and things, are just really not up to par, or they served a purpose but they're not really serving a purpose now, or like every time you look at it you're like, oh my gosh, this like old and falling apart, it's not what I want. So you might be in a bit of a period of like reevaluating your material goods, and your aesthetic, your vibe, your what kind of foods you're drawn to. It could be all of those things that you kind of are going through a bit of a transformation, or it's almost like the light is shining on it and illuminating it, making it more obvious or apparent to you, right now, for the next year. So it is only advised that you don't slip into kind of the shadow side of Taurus, where, being an earth sign, there can be a bit of like potential for like laziness or stubbornness, kind of almost like being set in your ways, even if it's not good for you, or just like indulging in so much good food and drink. And you're just like, oh, I just don't feel like doing anything. Like, that's okay every once in a while, but it's not something that you would want to establish like a regular pattern of that, because, then it's going to affect you physically, mentally, all of that too. Right. So with this kind of, spotlight, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm like, laser beam. No, that's not it. Spotlight of Jupiter kind of enhancing the energy of Taurus. You can make the most of it, and you can make the most of it, starting out now in Taurus season, and be carried along in that energy for the next year if you kind of strike while the iron is hot. Because not only do we have Jupiter and Taurus, entering today, like I said, it's going on for a year. Then we will have the new moon in Taurus on the 7th, with Western calculations. And then the new moon will still be in Aries with Vedic astrology. But, Aries is a sign right before Taurus. And so we have that kind of more fiery, passionate, quick natured energy of Aries that is then going to be transitioning into the more earthy, grounded, Venusian pleasures, energy of Taurus. So you will feel the Aries kind of like impulse energy kind of like fading away as we get more into that Taurus energy. So the things that are probably going to be really obvious for you, like this month too, until we get into more Gemini energy, um, you know, at the end of May and into June, that being an air sign, not grounded at all. Okay. Is that your environment and your space, like where you work, where you spend a lot of time, at home, or even like being outside, places that you do feel grounded, your garden, your yard, maybe you go somewhere to like be out in nature. All of those kind of locales that you would consider to be like local to you, you're going to notice that how much of an effect your environment has on you. And if it has an effect that is giving you a sense of security and giving you a sense of safety and giving you a sense of nourishment, then you're good, right? But if you're like, the vibe is off, I moved, I'm just saying it as an example. This is not me, but it's like, I moved here a couple years ago and I thought it was going to be this way. And then now that I've been here, it's just like I still just don't feel like I know anybody, and I'm not happy or whatever. So it is your place that you are physically located, is going to become more in the forefront of your awareness of, yes, this really works for me and I kind of want to dig in and just make it like my perfect happy home, or yeah, I think it's time to kind of uproot now and then figure out where I want to put down roots, because it's important to put down roots. And that is kind of the energy that is going to help us kind of skate along through the summer, but we're going to really need that rooted energy as we get into the fall, as we get into the winter, and as we get into whatever else is happening in this reality that we have now in the future, because we are going through lots of shifts and changes. And that can be unsettling for people, that can be scary, that can be to feel like you don't know what is up or down, and these foundations and structures that you've known all of your life, or well, this is how things always were, or whatever. The change can be scary because maybe we don't know what's next, right? Because it's not just like flipping a switch on and off, and it's like there's this one energy one day, and then the next energy is here the next day, and then whatever. There's a transitionary period. There could be waiting. There could be a multitude of ways of the old systems falling away or falling apart before we even get into the rebuilding stage. Okay. So however you can apply your will, your intention, your wishes, your desires to your environment, to how you feel healthy and wealthy and peaceful and protected, those are very important things to focus on now. And also aligning with like other people who value the same thing, right? And surrounding yourself with those people, um you know uh investing in those kinds of quality relationships and interactions. And it's not like you put down roots and then you could never like go on vacation or, ever leave or anything like that. It's not that, but it's like that safety and security is really going to serve you well in the long run. And, humans really kind of like truly don't need a whole lot to actually survive. Um, Thriving is probably a different story, especially in this modern world that we live in. And whereas if we didn't know about cell phones and DoorDash and bank accounts and all of that, and it was just, finding food and clean water and shelter from the weather, you know, that would keep us busy enough, right? But it's like we have all of these modern conveniences, but when the modern conveniences don't work, or the structures that are all built around that start to kind of unravel, it's just like everything exponentially is imploding and exploding and falling apart. And it's incredibly stressful, right? Because we've kind of all agreed on all of these different systems and like how everything works, all this infrastructure and systems for payment and all this stuff. So, even though, yes, humans only need a few things to actually survive, because we become accustomed to so many other things that are maybe extraneous, maybe convenient, maybe kind of cool, whatever it is. Um, we we might require more just to survive, if that makes sense. So, this time of Taurus energy for you, it would really behoove you. It would really, really benefit you to use that earthy energy and say, what do I like truly need to survive and be healthy and to feel safe and to feel grounded? Okay. And maybe what things do I have in my environment or in my like circle of influence? And this could be people or just time killers or uh stuff that you do, but that, I mean, what are they really like? What purpose does it serve? And maybe kind of cull some things that are just taking up space. Maybe it was awesome 5 years ago. Maybe it was really served a purpose 6 months ago. But maybe you've grown as a person. Maybe your priorities have changed. Maybe the world has changed. And so to kind of get an inventory of like, whoa, what do I have that I need that is like important for me to keep, maybe repair, maybe add to, have an extra bag of dog food on hand if, I can't make it to the grocery store or whatever. And then what is just taking up space that I can get rid of? And maybe you get rid of it by bartering, and you get rid of something you don't need, somebody else needs it, and then you replace that thing that you didn't need with something that does serve a purpose. Or maybe you sell it, at a yard sale or on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. And you are then converting, some of the value in that thing, which surely you invested something in it, right? You're converting the value back into cash, maybe, or into a usable item. And then you can use that money to purchase something that you need. It's practical, right? But it's also streamlining things. And it's kind of funny because um, the same kind of themes are flowing through right now during this energy update that did, and the one a couple hours ago that kind of cut off after 20 minutes. But it's like I still feel like I'm repeating myself, but I'm not, unless you're really good at reading lips. But the theme that came through, and that is continuing to come through, is quality over quantity. That if you have the money and the luxury of being able to buy a more expensive pair of shoes that are like, they're expensive because they're well made, they're durable, they're made with high quality materials that are going to last a long time. It would be worth the investment, right? Or is a worthy investment to spend the money on something like that is going to last you for years, possibly, like hiking boots or something, or something that is going to like withstand the elements, and not fall apart. Because you could have like hundreds of pairs of flip-flops, which I'm not hating on flip-flops, but you could have, cheap shoes, right? From like the Dollar Tree or something, and they might last you a summer. Probably not though. Not if like you were using them for hiking or having to like trek through the snow, like it's not practical, right? And even sometimes, like things may cost a lot of money, but it's just because of a name. It's because they're trending. It's because who knows what. So, investing your energy, which might be money, into certain things that are maybe more expensive, but that really have a lot of value. And that, like, they're going to last you, or they're going to really serve that purpose well that you're getting them for. That is a worthwhile investment. That is quality over quantity, right? Now, if you're the entrepreneurial sort and you decide that, the apocalypse is coming and maybe you're going to sell shoes, maybe you do take some of your money and you invest in 100 pairs of flip-flops and you're the flip-flop person during the apocalypse. I don't know, but have sense behind why you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, what you're spending it on. And it needs to have a real purpose, like grounded in, this is going to serve my needs, or it's going to help me make more money, to really thrive in these energies that are going around us. And Jupiter, like I mentioned, is this expansive energy. It is the planet of the spotlight on whatever other planets it's with. And with it being in Taurus, it is putting the spotlight on your finances, on your abundance, what you value. But it can be a fortuitous time for that entrepreneurial spirit, for not taking advantage of in like a manipulative way, but of really um stepping into success by applying your knowledge, your action, your diligence, and a good idea, to kind of get that money working for you and flowing. So if you have an idea that you're wanting to kind of launch, if you are um wanting to shift in your abundance, in your work situation, whatever it is, um things, not that this is 100% the formula, but I feel that things that do have some kind of tangible value um, quality are going to be the things that are going to be more foundationally successful for you. And it's weird because all I see now on my social media feeds, and I get a lot of ads, and I use social media almost exclusively for business. So it's like all the ads are trying to give me like ideas for business. It seems like most of the stuff. That or tinted makeup was what was today. I don't know. But I see so many ads for being a digital creator, using AI to create content, blah, blah, blah. Shortcuts. And it's nothing that is tangible, nothing that's tangible at all. And yeah, like I create digital art. I created the little Beltane Pablo Neruda quote that I made today for Beltane. Like I created that on my phone with digital graphics and uploaded it, right? But that was a little bit of my time. It's not my main bread and butter. And I feel that, yes, although Aquarius energy is coming in very strong, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. It is coming in very strong, and that is like technology and advancements and everything like that. That is a strong energy, but that's still like we are still physical humans living on a physical planet, and we need things like food, and we need things like shelter, and we need physical things. We need to be grounded to actually be happy. And so I really think that it is risky to put all of your energy, intention, whatever, into like completely digital automated stuff. And this is related, but kind of this is definitely my opinion, but I feel like there's an intuitive backbone to it. I am not a conspiracy theorist who thinks that AI is going to like become sentient and like take over the planet. Like that's not where I'm coming from when I say this. But what I am saying is that I will never write a book, write a copy for my website, social media post, or anything with AI, with some prompt saying, talk about these things and give me a bunch of content that I can share. Yeah, it's easy. It is. I have used like some chat GPT for like brainstorming stuff and all of that, but I'm not like copy pasting all of that shit into my creation. Okay. I'm using it as a tool. But when you start not only using it as a tool, but you're just letting it in the tone of whatever, write all of your message that you're giving to people, that's where it's really risky because it's not 100% accurate. It can definitely have a tone, agenda, wrong information put in on purpose. And especially like when we are in the spiritual metaphysical community and we're talking about like all this mystical stuff and then we're letting AI write. I mean, it just seems very false to me. It seems like it's being lazy, and it is yeah, it's being lazy. And it's just, I mean, why put your name on it? If that's what you're doing, it doesn't really make sense to me. Um so anyway, I will assure you that none of my content is AI generated. It is me as a channeling source. I'm not an effing computer doing it. So that's all to say that with this kind of entrepreneurial, like business, like abundance stuff, um, you can use technology as a tool, right? An efficiency tool, a computer as a calculator, things like that. A way to maybe organize information. But you are the key. Your idea, your spark, who you are is the important part. And then maybe what in the physical you have to offer people. Because, shit hits the fan and our internet goes down even for like 30 minutes. Do you know how many like billions of dollars of revenue that just like disappears because, the internet wasn't working? Um, and I just think that it is because these are intangible things, digital stuff, whatever. I'm not saying don't do it at all, but have a physical backup plan is really what I think would be important for sure. Because we are still real people manifested in the physical, and we need real things like food and you know actual smudge bundles that burn, sage and smoke, and we need to be immersed in this reality, or we will kind of cease to exist in reality, and we'll just go do whatever the other thing is that we do when we're not a human, which is fine. But I would kind of like want to be human right now and doing human things, which involves physical things and our physical body and our fantastic mind, uh, creating things, doing things, and interacting with other real people. I think that's really important. Not in worst case scenario, just for reality, but then in worst case scenario, you're gonna kind of want to know who your friends are and actually have something to eat and to stay safe. Otherwise, you're not going to be around too long, you know? So, anyway, this took an interesting turn. So let's talk about a little bit of revolutionary energy. Tomorrow, May 2nd, Pluto retrogrades into Aquarius. So Pluto has been in Aquarius, now it turns retrograde. It's going to be retrograde in Aquarius for a while, and then it will move back into Capricorn September 1st. And then the retrograde will officially end on October 11th. And then Pluto will then finally move back into Aquarius. So it's been like Pluto moved to Aquarius. And then it's like, ooh, now it's retrograde. So it's going to start like doing this like, shifty thing, and then kind of go back for a little bit. And then it's going to finally right itself and go forward. And then once it is not retrograding anymore, it is direct and back in Aquarius on November 19th. It will stay in Aquarius, no more moving around for 2 decades. Okay. And Aquarius is the sign of change, of expansion, of revolution, of whatever old status quo we have that we've outgrown. We're breaking that down, and we are moving into a new energy. And there are amazing, like, Aquarius is like the water bearer, but it's like this, this visionary, space and technology and open mind and looking at how everything's connected for the common good, right? And that's the energy that we as an entire planet, the next couple, all of us and the next couple of generations that are born are moving into. And so Pluto, being the planet of and like the god of like death and the underworld and like transformation and the hard truths that you have to look at and go, wow, this is crumbled and dead and it's just going to be gone. That's like where we're going. And it's not like it has to be bad, but it's just like, if you have ever personally in your life witnessed any kind of like calamity or tragedy or accident or something like that, or you've seen it on the news, or somebody who's had like a house fire, or you've seen a wildfire, or you've seen a dam break, or you've seen a tornado, or seasons change, all the things, is that yes, there's always going to be loss, and there's going to be destruction, and there's going to be an ending of old energy, and then that plants fertile ground with the fertilizer of the old stuff, fertile ground for new growth. Because we can't help but grow, we can't help but evolve, but there's no way to keep like all the old energies, like to keep everything, all of that, plus have new stuff, right? That's not how it works. So we see, there's protests, going on, I mean, within our country, and then, around the world. And there's so much stuff that we don't see unless there's certain like news that you watch, or that you try to stay abreast of, like maybe stuff that isn't just kind of spoon fed to you, through like major like news channels or whatever. But there are a lot of people kind of getting fed up. There are a lot of people that are, um, there are more and more people seeing that the old way of doing things is outgrown and it's done and it's old. And then there are some other people who are still like, oh, no, we're going to just keep doing it this way as long as we can, which is just whatever, it's ridiculous at this point, but it is what it is. But a lot more people are waking up to like, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. That actually hasn't worked for a long time. New stuff is coming in. We're going to go ahead and rip the band-aid off. And it can be exciting, and it can be like, yeah, exciting. It can be exciting, and it can be invigorating, and it's just like finally something new, something different, something that actually suits who we are now, and who we and generations on ahead of us are like evolving into, right? But it's kind of like, you know, if we just cling to the old way, it's going away anyway. It's just really not going to be pretty if you're just like clinging on to like skeletons and dust at at that point. It's just um you would exhaust yourself, but you would have nothing to show for it. And some people will do that, and that's their choice, that's their journey. But the people that are aware that the change is coming, and okay, awesome. I'm glad you can hear me now. That change is coming, and that we maybe have a say in like what this change is, what new energies we're open to, what kind of advances and like positive changes that are not only good for us as individuals, but for the collective, you know um that like we can kind of have our say and put our energy and our intention into that. So it's not like everybody has to be an activist. It's not like everybody has to protest. It's not like everybody has to, be angry. And I'm not equating angry with protest necessarily. I mean, I know that you're like speaking your mind, you're standing up against something and all that. I'm not making a judgment on that. I'm just saying um that the interesting thing about like protesting is like, yes, you are making your thoughts and your feelings heard and you're taking a stand, which I think is important to do. But unfortunately, a lot of times all of that energy gets expended just kind of pushing up against the system. When if you were kind of more grassroots, like actually just like, okay, fine, it's broken. So we're just going to start our own thing, or we're going to kind of like network with people and we're going to start our other system or kind of just make something happen. And you're putting your energy into that. It might actually make more waves, in the long run. I'm not saying never to protest or anything like that, but don't just protest. There's a whole lot more that needs to be done. First and foremost in your life and in your way, in the way that you're raising your family and the kind of friends that you have, and then you connect with other people that align with that, and then you go from there, right? So we are in like peering at revolution, peering at major shifts and changes. And I don't think anybody knows right now how it's actually going to go down. I don't think anybody really knows how all the pieces are going to fall and then what's going to emerge from that. Maybe it's more of a feeling of what will, but there are a lot of pieces and parts right now, right? So I think I like this energy update better anyway than the one that didn't record what I was saying. Apparently it did it for a reason. So anyway, let's just say Pluto, a little bit of a retrograde, but right until like before the election. Moving into the Pluto and Aquarius energy, like for reals, for like 2 decades. Right now, we're on the tail end of Aries energy in Taurus. What do we need to be healthy and happy and safe and grounded and feel good and feel like taken care of and feel safe? Those seeds that you plant right now are going to be nourished and fed in the not quite so crazy energies of the summer. It'll be like little peaks of maybe some chaos, but it's not just like chaos. But then as we move out of summer and move into fall, late summer, fall, winter, it could be kind of nutballs. So whatever intentions and seeds you planted now will have had a chance to grow strong roots and to grow and to produce fruit. And this could be a metaphor. This could be literally plant a garden, okay? Because you're going to want to harvest that when things maybe become unsure or whatever, because you can use the inertia and use the kind of extra oomph of that energy of Jupiter moving into Taurus season, all of that right now. So yes, do those things if you feel so inspired. I think that it would be advantageous for you. So I guess I'll use a different tarot deck. Awesome. Okay, I guess I'll use a different tarot deck because the other energy update that did not record most of my voice used a different deck, and maybe that wasn't the message we needed to see. So, or you saw it, but you didn't hear it, right? So I'm going to use a Spirit Song Tarot. I haven't shuffled these cards tonight. So let me just give them a shuffle here. After the energy update at 7 that ended around 8 and me realizing that, pretty much none of it had recorded, I was hungry. And so I went to San Taco and I got tamales, which were delicious. So I'm not hangry anymore. Just thought I would tell you that because I know that's really interesting. Okay. Let's see. So let's see. Intention between now and let's say the week of the new moon. Okay. So new moon is May 7th. A few days after, kind of like, what do we really need to hone in on? It's kind of like what information, what guidance is going to really help us narrow down what we need to prioritize to really maximize the energies of this time. Okay, I think that's a good one. So let's see what we get. And I do remember what I pulled last time. So it would be funny if I got the same ones, but we'll just see. No, not the same. Okay, this is Knight of Shells. This would be like Knight of Cups, Flamingo, Charm, and Passion. That would be cool if I could make the card stand up, but I'm not. King of Feathers. Feathers is like an air card. King of Feathers, Logic and Justice. Let's pull one more. I'm going to pull it all together for us here. And the Nine of Shells. We had a lot of cups last time too, but we didn't have these same cards. Nine of Shells would be gratitude and fulfillment. Okay. I love these cards. They're so beautiful. All right. So this was the first one that I pulled, the second one, and the last one. Okay. So pulling all of these together, we have the Knight of Shells, which would be like the Knight of Cups. And I think that the way that you can really discern, like out of all the things that you could focus on, or all the things that you could put your energy into, or just kind of hone in on like what to pick, what is going to maximize your investment of your time, of your energy, right? Is what are you passionate about? What makes you feel like really blessed and lucky? Because it's different for everybody, and you may have something, have something in, common with people, like, you have similar things. And Julie, thank you. The first one only recorded the first like 15 or 20 minutes of my audio. And then it caught like, I was just talking, but no hearing. So you can hear this one. So yeah. Okay. So I was saying that, people can have similar things that like they're passionate about, or that they just are really drawn to, or that really light them up. Right. But each individual person, it is very, very specific and individual, because even if it's like, oh, like I don't know, I love making sourdough bread. Let's say that, Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of people since 2020 that love making sourdough, right? I mean, it's on my Instagram feed all the time. I do also enjoy making sourdough bread. But the reason why is going to be really different for each person. It really is. So anyway, maybe that's a weird example, but think of some things. And this could be like physical, tangible things. This could be activities. That could be food. It could be, even like people that you just really enjoy being around. Their energy is just like inspiring and infectious and all of that. And just like really identify some of those things. And then identify what it is about those persons, places, or things that are so inspiring, that are so that light you up, that just make you feel that you feel very passionate about, right? And you're going to find probably, a common thread, and it could be even something that really pisses you off, that like you're passionate about it, but it's like because you're angry. It's because let's say, and not picking a specific political situation, but let's just say that you are really upset about other people being oppressed. Okay. And like it just eats you up and makes you so angry. Well, so you're passionate about that, but you're not passionate about oppression, right? You're passionate about freedom or like free will, or people being treated like humans and decently, right? So what is it about that thing, or for you, like that you are really passionate about? And then see how that applies to your own life. If it's outside of you, if it's not like I'm passionate about making sourdough bread and consuming it because it is alive and delicious, um, if it's something outside of you, a person you admire or something that really pisses you off or something that inspires you, identify that feeling, what it is. And then kind of look around in your life and how you spend your time and what kinds of things you're surrounded by, in your environments, home, work, whatever. And are there things that make you feel the same way? And there hopefully are a few things at least, that bring up that same feeling. Now, are there things in your environment or in your quote unquote friend circle or whatever that don't bring up that feeling, that would maybe bring up an opposite feeling? Why are they still there? And I know it's easier said than done to like, especially if it's people you've known a long time or like blood relatives, or, you feel like you're stuck in a dead end job or whatever, like I understand like life can be really, really complicated, but um, why are those things still taking up space? Do you want them there as a glaring example of what you don't want? Wouldn't you rather remove those things to at least give yourself a little bit of breathing room, let alone maybe make room for something that is awesome and that could take its place, that actually is fulfilling and inspiring and uplifting, or makes you feel like totally chill and peaceful? So yeah, this is a time of inventory, and when you're able to align with what you are passionate about, and the why is the emotional connection, that's going to help you cull and then add more of what you do want. All right, just remember the flamingo when you're hack and slash and getting rid of stuff that no longer serves you. All right. King of Feathers, logic and justice. Okay, there are certain things though. Okay, we were just talking about our charm and our passion and our inspiration, right? And then this is like our mental faculties. This is, our sense of like logic, like right and wrong. Sometimes we can make decisions that are more calculated, that are just like, there has to be a logical reason for this to be here, or it does not serve a purpose, right? So that can also be a way, especially things that don't have an emotional charge and things you're like, I don't even know how I feel about this. I don't even know where it came from. Why do I still talk to this person? Whatever it is. Just use like simple, like rationale. Like, does this serve a purpose in my life? No, not really. Okay, well, will it serve a purpose for me in 6 months? Might I need it in 6 months? No, probably not. Okay, well, maybe somebody else could use it. And justice, this is the king. This is the king of the jungle. He is ruling over the jungle with a sense of fairness and with a sense of just like very clear, like just like black and white um sense, morality, ethics. This is a very just leader. And sometimes a really good leader maybe doesn't completely know what the right choice is, or doesn't know what the right next step is. But you're still the leader, and everybody is looking to you to make a choice, to take an action, to say what the next step is. And sometimes it's just like some choice is better than no choice. Sometimes just going, well, I am going to move my foot forward in this direction is better than being in limbo. So remember that you could always choose to change course. You can say, I did make that decision, but now that time has passed, or I've had some experience with that decision. I think that I need to make a different decision now. And if you can kind of stand behind that, and you can stand behind that with your intentions were pure, that you were looking out for, everybody around you that you're responsible for, or you were taking responsibility for your own life, like that has some value. Nobody's going to look at you and say, "Oh my God, you changed your mind once. Oh my God, you made a mistake. You decided to go into a different direction." At least you're doing something, because a lot of people are sitting there not doing anything, right? So think of the lion in the jungle. And then we have the penguin. Every time I see this card, this is what I think of. This little penguin, which is not shown in this card, but I always think of the penguins where the male takes the egg and he scoots it in between his little feet and he sits on it and he actually incubates the egg. I always think of, is it an emperor penguin? What kind of penguin is it that does that? Does anybody know? But I always think of that when I see this penguin. 9 of shells is like 9 of cups. This is, everything is coming together. There is unity and there is harmony, and you are getting very close to your happily ever after, like all that you could ever want and wish for, your dreams and wishes fulfilled, all of that. But you're still seeing it all come together. Okay? And this card at the bottom, it says gratitude and fulfillment. You're seeing that coming to fruition, but you're not like satiated. You're not like, I have everything I ever needed and wanted, and you're just kind of like, it's kind of boring. You're still just like, whoa, like it's all coming together, and you're so grateful and you're so thankful for that. And so this is telling me that you can have that. See, I don't know if you can see, there are a bunch of little stars too, like in the sky. Okay, whenever we see stars in tarot, it's like, there's this cosmic celestial blessing, wish, magical kind of energy with it. It's like aim for the stars, right? So this is like the formula. This is the formula for doing whatever you want to do, for making anything happen, for not being stuck, for not being in limbo, for not being paralyzed and scared because things are shifting and changing, and who knows, what it's going to look like in 6 months, right? This is the formula for success. This is I always look at this backwards. This is like find what you're passionate about, why you came here, okay? AKA the experiences you came here to experience as a human. Okay. What sets you on fire in a good way? Okay. Align with those things. The feeling, it could be sourdough bread, camping, and baby goats. I don't know. It doesn't have to be related. Those things are probably not related, except I like all of those things, but they don't have to be related either. But it's just like, the things that really stand out to you. Okay. And then what is it about those things that really, really, what's the feeling that they evoke? What do you need more of in your life? What do you want to enhance in your life? If you're like, I don't really know what the right choice is, just be ethical, be moral, be fair, be just, and just make a decision. Don't let yourself be stuck unless you just like, the decision is to pause, is to take a nap, right? That it's okay to shift course, but people will respect you for taking action and for being fair and for like living your truth. People will respect you for that, and you'll respect yourself for that too, and that's really important. and it's all coming together. The world is your oyster. You can experience whatever you want, and I know that like I'm saying that, I'm hearing myself say that, and you're like, yeah, but my life has been blah, 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 XYZ up until this point. Look at these people over here, what they're experiencing. That's not what they want, all of that, right? Like, I get that. I get that life can be hard. But if life can be really hard and challenging, life can also be freaking amazing. And I promise you, we did not come here to just be punished, to be miserable, to have hard karmic lesson after karmic lesson. We came here to just experience and to be fully immersed in it and to really live juicy lives. And a juicy life could be napping on a hammock and it's peaceful and it's perfect. It doesn't have to be like exciting. It could be. But that's really what you came here to do. And so if you don't have enough of that in your life, or if your life isn't that, then you have to start choosing it. And you got to make some room sometimes. So, yeah, use this energy to propel yourself into why you came here. Let me pull one more card. I think this is a much better energy update than I did earlier. So, okay. Yes, this is my favorite card ever. The Empress card. The Empress. And I love that she's a bunny rabbit on this card in this deck, because the Empress in like traditional tarot, as she's like, she's like, is she pregnant? Her belly's full, and she's like fertile, and she's abundant, and all of the things. It is like so much potential. And yes, beauty and abundance. This is divine feminine personified, the Empress card. And so, if you don't align with that energy, if you're a male, if you're like, okay, the Empress, okay, yeah, well, we all have divine feminine, divine masculine energies within us in our life. We see it. If it is our equal opposite, we're drawn to it. The Empress is divine feminine. It is receptivity. It is grace. It is seeing the beauty around you. It is Venus, right? And Taurus is ruled by Venus as well. And so I feel like this card is saying, like, if you are having a hard time right now, or if things are not as great as they have been before, or if you're like, my life has always sucked and I've just always had a hard time, I've just gotten like this, just like really, really rough lot in life, or your life is okay, but then you see other people just really suffering and, having all these challenges, whatever it is. I feel like it's important to say that you, first and foremost, because this is for you, right? That you are deserving of absolute happiness. You are deserving of it. Even if you've never experienced it before, even if you have never known what it was like to be enveloped in that energy of beauty, of grace, of love, of abundance. And I would imagine, as like, middle-class Americans, we probably all actually have experienced that at least one time in our life, because we're like, we got clothes, and we got a house, and we got the internet, right? Not that those things are like the most awesome thing ever, but like, we're surviving way more than surviving. But even though we may have all of our human needs met, and we may have these creature comforts and all of that, perhaps your life is overshadowed by emotional or mental or physical trauma, right? And the thing is that all of those things are experiences. Any situation that you're in, any experience, any perspective is all a perspective. And it is a kind of a lens in which to experience this reality. And it's not a karmic punishment. It is not a judgment on, you were a really shitty person in a former life. So you did shitty things to people. So now you're going to have a really hard life here. Your experiences could be connected so that you have a more of a well-rounded experience, understanding of that one aspect of humanness or human nature. But Um, a lot of times it is chaos kind of ordered itself in enough to kind of make some sense of something to where it could be enough of a framework for you to have a life. And imagine how many people are on this planet and how many other things are involved and how many other people have been go generations and generations back so we could even be here. I mean, it's pretty convoluted and pretty complex. It is amazing that we're all here. Uh and still, and uh your shitty life and your horrible experiences are do not define who you are. It does not define your worth is what I'm trying to say. You are worthy of and you are deserving of absolute joy, absolute bliss, absolute being nurtured and taken care of and more than you could ever need or desire. You are deserving of that regardless of what your past situations, experiences have told you you're deserving of, what your parents have told you you're deserving of, what society has said you're deserving of. Um and if you are one of the lucky ones that realizes um, how beautiful this life can be. And you are so grateful for what you have and the goodness around you, then you can maybe inspire others to find that within themselves as well, and because it doesn't have to be complicated. It could be sitting on the grass, you have not a single belonging to your name, and you're watching a little inchworm inch its way along a fallen leaf, and it is the most beautiful, blissful thing, and you don't need anything else. In that moment, you do not need anything else. Or you could be like, out of your mind on different substances, and you're so fucked up, you think that inchworm is going to come and eat your brain, and then it's a horrible experience, right? It's all about it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. Um, so that's what I want you to hear, I guess, is that you are worthy of all of your needs not only being met but exceeded. And to have that joy and to have that happiness and to have more than you need. And if you have more than you need, then you maybe do help other people that don't have as much, that need a little bit of inspiration as well. But that is going to not only serve you well, that's going to serve other people that you are close to well, right? Because you're a good person and you're inspiring them to be good people. And it's kind of like this beautiful kind of ripple effect. But then it also raises the vibration of not only your small collective group, but everybody, right? Because that's what Aquarius is about. It's about the collective and it's about the greater good, but it's not this. Sorry, I was like "Burp," censorship. It is not this ridiculous greater good stuff where it's not really greater good. They're trying to tell you that it is, but it's like, oh well, the powers that be are just gonna be in charge of everything and you don't have to worry about anything. We'll give you a little bit of money, we'll give you like cards for this or that, and you won't own anything, but it's all good. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And you just work, you do your thing, and yeah, it's all good. Like, no, that is not the greater good. That is not the collective good. That is slavery. Way beyond. We don't want that. We don't want that. That's the old system, and that's not the energy that we're moving into. So yeah, keep on doing your good and believing that you are worthy of it, and plant your seeds. Literally, I've got to finish planting my garden. I've got like little beans and beets and all kinds of stuff coming up. They're so cute. They make me happy every time I see them. But plant your physical gardens, plant your mental gardens, plant your ideas, your intentions now, and give them lots of love and attention and inspiration over the summer because you're going to want to harvest that come late summer, early fall. So thank you so much for joining me again tonight. And I think maybe just based on the interaction tonight that people can actually hear me. So that's awesome. So I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you next week on YouTube at 7 o'clock, I guess. That's kind of the typical time. And FYI for any locals watching this, any people in Knoxville, I am opening up the store more. Every Thursday, Friday, Saturday from 11 to 6, the shop will be open. No more shopping bazaar weeks. It's going to be shopping days every week. And so check our calendar for all the stuff we have going on, not just in the shop, but in the community space. We have a market coming up, like other local people vending there. So I am making hay while the sun is shining for sure. So definitely stop by if you are local. First day of the new schedule starts tomorrow. So I'll see y'all soon. Thank you. Bye bye.